Hey, I'm Cole.
I'm Kenyon.
I'm Kwame.
And I review bad self-help.
And we put it into our daily lives so you don't have to.
So the book this week is Close Your Eyes, Get Free, using self-hypnosis to reduce stress, quit bad habits, and achieve greater relaxation and focus. And it's written by Grace Smith, a master hypnotherapist, founder of Grace Space Hypnosis, and her work has been featured on Glamour and In Style.
So, like, what?
Those great medical magazines, Glamour and In Style.
What's the title of the book again? Close Your Eyes and Get Free?
Yeah.
And who, is she a doctor?
Yeah,
No.
does she have any credentials at all?
She's certified in hypnotherapy.
But can all of us do that?
For a price of $1,000, all of us could be certified in hypnotherapy.
Is that how much it costs?
I feel like it's almost like an anti-credit. You know, like if she was an actual doctor.
Where do you get that degree? You don't get it from a school, right? No.
You just find some dude who's teaching it in a
I think
class.
a man in a hair bun hands you a henna tattoo, and you automatically are.
What does she look? How old is she? Is she young? Is she like 80?
She looks youngish.
Oh, you have a picture? Let me see her.
Why?
I want to see if she's older. Is she like a crazy young person? Is she?
I mean, I assume she just looks like every yoga teacher ever.
No, yeah.
Yeah, she looks like
she's like 25.
Yeah, okay. Great.
So it's not even like you're trying to pretend.
It's not even psychosis. She's just she just thinks she convinces people, but it's just guys at bars who are interested in her. And like, yeah, I think it's really working. I think it is.
No, you hypnotize me into thinking you're interesting.
Well, she puts her Instagram in her bio. So
Jesus! If you do that, you don't get to have a biography anymore.
Does it say? It says doctor, right?
No.
Oh,
it just says
because I think that's illegal, right?
It says
are you legally allowed to do that?
Yeah, you don't need to be a doctor anymore when you can just do @Grace Smith, instead of Dr. Grace Smith.
I like how that's your credentials. I have a solid Instagram account that you can follow. It's like, are you a doctor at all? Like, nah, just 20 people follow me to see pictures of my ass. And that's pretty much.
Well, that's going to be my next question. Is it like, is there Instagram like, oh, hypno stuff, or is it basically just like, oh, it's like hot pictures?
I didn't look at it, but I'm pretty sure it's
probably both. Probably
both.
a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
I might give old Grace Smith a follow.
So yeah, there's some praise for this book. Should I read the praise before we get into praise? Okay. So it says, Grace is a passionate healer who's accessible and real. Her down-to-earth approach to hypnosis is relevant and relatable. Yeah, it's a down-to-earth approach to hypnosis.
As opposed to the pretentious hypnosis.
Yeah, that we all...
that we're all just sick and tired of. I want to get hypnotized by a real American.
It's hypnosis that's relevant and relatable.
It's not metaphorical. It's supposed to be like real, like
the clock in front of you stuff.
Hypnosis.
No, it's not the clock in front of you stuff. It's self-hypnosis, and so they're just like mantras that you repeat to yourself.
Oh, she doesn't even.
This is meditating. It's not hypnosis.
She has recordings that you can listen to of her doing it, but it's for yourself.
It's pretty lazy shit right there. You buy the book, and I'm supposed to still do it myself. It's like IKEA hypnosis, basically.
Yeah, the book is kind of thick too.
Yeah,
the book is like 300 pages.
It's just the whole book's just like, just tell yourself I want to lose weight, and that's it. Just repeat. I hate myself.
Yeah, this praise was written by the Astro Twins.
It sounds like someone you buy like mushrooms from.
I feel like these are all credits against the book. It's the fact that the Astro Twins was a huge fan of it. I'm like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't buy the Astro Twins and the guy outside of the farmer's market.
Yeah, would you rather listen to your doctor or would you rather listen to the Astro Twins?
I mean, I think they're onto something.
Yeah, and someone says that this hypnosis has helped them for the past 4 years and even increased their financial abundance.
Oh, it got them more money.
Yeah.
Wait, so like, how does it work?
How does it work?
Yeah.
We'll go into that later.
But like, so what is he intro?
Yeah, you don't want to spoil the hypnosis.
Yeah, don't you want to know how she got into hypnosis? And
is that in the book? She details like how she got into it.
Yeah, it's 300 pages long. That's not. You can't have 300 pages.
No 25-year-old has 300 pages worth of anything to say.
Yeah, so she introduces self-hypnosis by telling the story about Alexandre, and he's like this Brazilian. Like a service military guy. She said he was like the toughest guy in the military, the strongest guy, and he was deployed to Syria, and during an attack he got a stroke and he was paralyzed for the left side. And so he was in this hospital for months, and he was just, since he placed so much emphasis on his body previously, he was like devastated, and he tried to will his body back to working. Nothing worked. But then out of the blue, his son was like, "Hey, I'm dating a hypnotherapist. Why don't you give that a try?" And so Alexandra, it says he was desperate to try anything, even though he was a skeptic. Prior to his stroke, he thought anyone who meditated was weak. He made fun of vegetarians.
Is he just describing my act? I feel like it's just like, this guy sounds pretty cool. I think.
And
Is he a good comic?
And it says he wasn't all that progressive in his views on holistic healing, which I didn't know how to take
such a
that.
mild way to put this
intro
podcast.
is just a defense of like her to her parents.
Yeah. And also he's a reasonable human being. So coming to it, he was kind of a reasonable person
I also
that thought that Reiki is garbage. And
I also don't know what it means to be progressive on holistic views, because
It means you believe in it, right?
but if you're like progressive, science based,
Yeah, she doesn't.
like holistic stuff is mostly there's no foundation in science at all.
oh no.
So being like progressive on holistic views is just being like, yeah, they don't work,
Yeah, but she also has her Instagram ad on the cover, so she doesn't know how to write books.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, I'll try this hypnotherapist. She comes in, does the thing to him, and lo and behold, he starts to be able to move his hand.
Wait, is this Grace? Is the lady the girl was?
Is it Grace?
Well, the story ends, and then she says, "I am the hypnotherapist in this story."
Christ.
What a psychopath! So I want to be clear. She is claiming in the book that she healed a man who was paralyzed.
Yeah,
from like the waist down.
no, his left side of him was
And
paralyzed.
she's claiming, as a human woman, that she healed him.
Yeah,
I mean, her and JC also said the same thing. Old Jesus Christ. I think that's pretty much.
and not only did she heal him, she also became his daughter-in-law. Yeah,
She married his
She
son.
married his son. You remember earlier in the story when?
So that must have been pretty awkward. It's like, since I made you guys walk, are you paying for the wedding? Are you going to pay for the wedding since you can walk over to the bank and get a loan now? So I think maybe you should. So I'm not really getting the respect I deserve on this Instagram. It's really not.
Oh, about prenup? Well, I could just make your dad.
Yeah, no, prenup. Yeah, no, but he could also go back to.
Yeah, just make sure so your dad never lives as a man again.
Every relationship fight would come back to that 100%. Oh, you don't want to hang out with my friends? Yeah, I don't want to hang out with your dad and save him and make him walk again either. But that'd be hell on earth. I think if my girlfriend could heal people, she would never fucking hold that over you forever.
I unparalyzed and I can paralyze you again. So.
Yeah, it's just, you're like, I'm already paralyzed. I'm paralyzed in this goddamn relationship right now. So you might as well sign a lease with you so I can't even get the fuck up and walk.
Yeah, so I read that. That's the story in the intro of this book, and I read that, and it kind of tinted my whole view on this whole.
Kind of tinted your whole. The Astro Twins thing didn't throw you off at all?
Who the fuck are the Astros? Two meth dealers out of Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah, it sounds like those Matrix guys, the two like white translucent.
Astro Twins is a failing improv troupe downtown that really gets a lot. And then also the fact you're like, that person was me. And
Yeah,
you're like,
it sounds like
fuck
all
you.
those
Just
like
fuck you.
like, and that person was Einstein. But I don't know.
So that's how the book starts.
Yeah, have you? I've actually had some of those stories when I used to be in church. When I was growing up, and have you ever heard that story about this guy, this Australian guy who gets like beaten just completely, and his face is unrecognizable, and so he doesn't know what to do, and eventually he finds the Lord, and I don't know how this happens, but through the Lord he like goes into plastic surgery or whatever. And so my priest was telling me this, and he's like, yeah, and through the Lord all this was possible. And you might know that guy now as Mel Gibson.
That's not.
I don't think that's true at all.
It wasn't even a true story. I looked at it's been in my mind, and I looked at.
Is he Australian? Is Mel Gibson Australian? Did he just lie about his
I think he might. Is he
nationality?
Australian?
He's Australian, but the story apparently the story just circulated in like emails or at the time or whatever, and this like priest just took it from an email and he's like, yeah, that's.
So did he also say that if you fold the dollar bill a certain way, it can show you 9/11 twin dollars falling down? That also was in an email.
I was saying I saw a faith healing video on Twitter the other day. I'll show you after the pod. It was a video of some woman in a wheelchair. It was like 100 people in the church gathered around her and they're chanting. They're like, hallelujah.
Yeah, but
hallelujah."
there's tricks.
The guy touches.
It's a bit that they
The
do.
guy touches her and she gets up and she's like,
I don't
she
know if
gets
you
up and
know.
walks.
You know that guy Jonestown?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he used to like. Well, you know what they do is someone who has like a stroller or like a walker. They're like, we're gonna make you more comfortable. They give them a wheelchair, and then they wheel them up, and then the whole time they have someone grill them about things in their life. How did you get this? Is it like what's wrong with you? And then he feeds that to the preacher, and then it'll be like, you have scoliosis, am I correct? And she's like, oh my god, I do. And it's like, on 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna make you walk it. They can already walk. They just can't walk well. So when they get up and hobble around, everyone thinks it's a miracle. It's like, yeah, no, they didn't have a problem with that. They just
You sound like a non-believer. You sound like you're going to hell.
I became a non-believer after that Mel Gibson story. I was like, if
When
that,
did you become? When did you stop?
it?
When did
Yeah.
you stop believing in?
if that
in
was
God?
false,
So were you in?
then the
were
Bible's
you a
false.
Jesus boy hard?
No, actually, I was never really.
You do seem like you have the demeanor of someone who was like a former Jesus boy.
I
No,
could
I
see
was
you
never
being.
really
I could
into-
see Cole walking out and he's like, he's against the cause, and just
Yes,
having an
yeah.
AK in his hand. As he,
Yeah, he is the demeanor of someone who was very hardcore Jesus freak and then got that
No, I
molested
was
right
never-
out of him.
I
I
feel.
was
I feel
never
like if you
super
once
into
you live in a
church.
trailer with your dad in Washington, you're like, there's no God. There's no God for me.
When did you stop? When did you stop believing in God?
I don't
When
know
you
if
met
I.
a stepdad.
I don't even
It's
know
like,
if
there's
I.
no way that. There's no way that there's a force behind
That
it.
that first slap really
Yeah,
knocked
yeah.
Jesus right out of him.
Really, it was like he punched his face into a book about evolution.
You definitely evolved into being a dick.
He probably was part of the. I was never like really into religion, but also just how hypocritical. Like my dad, stepfather, is supposed to be like one of the like really into the church. He had like the Promise Keepers Bible, that type of. Do you know about that
What the
stuff?
fuck is that?
And it's like some.
Did you go to a
weird,
Catholic church?
No.
No, he's a non-dominational.
Yeah.
Really?
No, you're from real America.
Oh, so you were going to hell either way. You were never.
No,
the
it's from
Christians
What?
most. I mean, most people aren't Catholic. You're from like
Most people in America are Baptist.
If you're
No,
from
they're not.
No, they're not.
Yes,
they're
they
like
are.
not.
What
They're
the
Christian.
hell are you talking about?
They're Christian. They're
Christian baptism and Catholicism are denominations of Christianity.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they're mostly Protestant. Like they consider
Like
themselves like
Baptist, right?
non-dominational Christians.
Baptist is a.
Maybe
Baptist
maybe
is a
it's maybe
not
it's a
Baptist is
Southern-
a sect of.
I don't know if it's more
There's a
of
lot of
Southern
Southern people. Who are
Everyone I knew,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Southern Baptist is
Yeah,
a big deal.
yeah. Southern Baptist is very. It's also very like black like thing
That's
too.
what Martin Luther King was.
Yeah, no, it's not. No Southern Baptist up in Washington State. But I was never really into the church. Also, when I was growing up, it was like the church was like where the cool kids hung
That's
out.
such a sad.
What the fuck? What does that?
You don't even
mean?
have like a cool high school. Like
What does that
Yeah.
mean? The cool kids hung out at church.
Like it was the social, like Wednesday they had like youth night, and it was like the social function. I'm pretty sure people used it, like they drank and they like had sex at the
That's
church,
That's such
Where
a
did
like
you
youth
grow-
nights.
He grew up in a small
He grew
town
up
and
in a town from like 1956. We used to drink some pop, go down to the social gatherings.
oh
at
my
church.
god, dude! I got sent to a youth retreat. Those a degenerate team.
You got
that-
sent to one?
Well, this guy at church was like, him and my mom teamed up, and they're like, "We'll give you $50 if you just go to this youth retreat."
How old were you?
I guess I was in 7th grade, so I was like 14,
And
15.
why'd they send you? What were you doing?
Oh, you know.
What were you doing?
Is that when you started commenting there? You need Jesus, actually.
Yeah, no, it's something. I mean, I wasn't doing anything in particular. That was kind of before I really I was just like an apathetic, smoked weed all the time, nothing. But like
In
nothing.
7th grade?
Yeah. And then they. I mean, it was like literal. But they sent me with like. Were you like with top notch Chris? Because these are the kids who like didn't go to school because their parents didn't want them learning about evolution and shit.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
and I went to a service, and then I remember just like freaking the fuck out because we had to go to church 2 hours after breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And there was a kid
This is
on
summer?
stage. Yeah, this is a kid on stage crying because of the sin he committed of masturbation, And he's 16 years old. And he's like, I just wanted to watch porn all day, and I didn't feel like I could live anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you're 16 years old. That's what you're supposed to do. You jerk off a lot, dude. Everyone in here should be. We're all gonna jerk off tonight. That's how life fucking works. And it was just crazy. But there was a lot of them too. There was like they had like the cool kid Christian squad, and all that, and it was just it's embarrassing.
That's gross. That's a weird way to be a person. That's not a real human. That's weird.
No, if you're partying with apple juice and you're 16, it's like no, don't
live a fucking life.
Well, yeah, make some mistakes and come.
Even if you're like some coke addict burnout, and then you're like, and then I found God. But if you're like, I never did anything, and my life was always boring, and I've always loved Jesus.
Why? And just having to fucking keep just the level of garbage arguments you have to hear all the time. Like I literally felt like I was in the Soviet Union because I'd have to hear opinions all the time. And
what's the one? I hear the one that said to me, it's like, so say God isn't real, right? Hey, you're an atheist, I'm a Christian. Say God isn't real, and he's not real, and we both die, and nothing happens. That's fine. But what if he is? Then you go to hell. So it's like you might as well believe in God.
It's like no. I'll take my chances and not waste every Sunday hanging out.
You might as well believe because my thing has consequences and yours doesn't.
Yeah, but then they also don't take into account that like there's like Hinduism, like that you could both be wrong and it could actually be like the Ganesh or whatever.
I mean, the church I would go, they just wouldn't know about things. So we'd like be in youth church and the youth pastor guy, he'd be like, and you got people preaching everything today, Hinduism, Buddhism. I'm like, you mean this thing's been on for 2,000 years?
I saw this youth preacher, and he really because he's supposed to be there's like a cool youth outreach guy always. He's like wears sandals, and his story is he used to be a fun person. He's like, I used to do drugs. I used to actually have interesting conversations at parties, and now I found Jesus, and I waste time of all these kids that could actually. And he said something that I knew like, oh, everyone in here is out of their fucking mind because he was like going on some rant about gay people, of course, and then he was just like, and people say I was born this way. Well, God doesn't make mistakes. You choose your mistake. And got an applause break at this fucking South Carolina youth retreat. And I was just sitting there like, oh, okay, you guys are out of your mind.
Well, black church is a little bit different. We would have like,
black churches
they wouldn't say it, but you would have like gay guys in your church.
Well, yeah, they sing.
But they wouldn't.
You wouldn't have a chorus.
Yeah, no, you'd have like black. They usually be the singers, and they'd be like the dancers, or whatever. But no one ever mentioned it was weird. Like no one ever mentioned they was gay. But he walk around, he's like talking like.
But
this,
you can't get that
hands,
pitch.
Like, it's weird because you're like, what? How are we?
I think it's a necessary evil with churches because they do need someone to sing. And
would you have gay guys in your church?
Well, yeah, they need to sing.
No, we wouldn't have it like that. You'd have like effeminate, like very effeminate.
No, it's very obvious
that
I've met a number of gay Christians in my life where they're really talking about Jesus, but it's like we both know what's going on here.
What a way to take the fun out of being gay, by the way. Being a gay Christian.
Have you seen what they're doing in Boys Town? I mean,
I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. In the past, when they
is your religion. You go, fuck.
In the past, when they needed people to sing, they just castrated the young boys. The church.
Is that like a real thing?
Yeah.
Eunuchs, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought eunuchs are bad, but honestly, I'd rather because like
you'd rather not have testicles. Is that what you mean?
I mean, like you had to have a deal between you cut your dick off, right? But then you get to make decisions you actually want to make for the rest of your life.
You don't cut your dick off.
You don't cut the dick; they cut the balls off.
Yeah, but whatever. But the point is, your brain is finally free to think logically for here on out.
What about like a week later when you're like, I want to jerk off, I'm bored, and you're like, oh, I don't have.
Yeah, exactly. So now you're free. Like it's
terrible.
There's never going to be a conversation I don't want to have if I'm a eunuch.
Or when you're at a bar and some girl's like, hey, how about we go back to your place? And you're like, actually, I don't have.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen anyway. But then you like, I get to ride a subway and I don't.
Hey, we have a podcast where we can test out self-help, so why don't
the next episode I just chop my balls off?
The next episode.
That's a good episode title. Kitten becomes a eunuch.
It's gonna be live on the pod too, or I'm just no, my life's gonna turn. I'm gonna learn like 8 languages with all the time. I would be thinking about sex, but now I'm actually.
Yeah, you come out with the book afterwards, the ultimate self-help.
Yeah.
No balls, no worries. Energy of a eunuch.
Well, once I stopped checking out girls in the subway, I really had so much time on my hands that I just thought. But anyway, we should probably get back. Yeah, we should probably get back to it. Listen, I can talk about wanting to chop my dick off all day, but we really should get back to the task at hand.
Yeah. So basically, hypnosis, the gist of it is that you use it to access parts of your subconscious mind that your conscious mind cannot, and then so you change it like through hypnosis.
What if I don't want to access parts of my subconscious mind?
That's true. I think I spent a sizable portion of my life.
There's a good part of subconscious mind. I'm like, yeah, I don't.
I spent $80 yesterday at a dive bar trying to avoid my subconscious.
Well, she says what's in your subconscious is your beliefs, your habits, your intuitions, your emotions,
Exactly.
your values,
No.
and your imagination.
Anywhere memories of my dad are, I do not want to be.
That's what I don't want any of that.
No.
That's the worst part.
But she says like all your bad behaviors stem from like what these
problem.
things
that's why I
in
keep
your
it locked
subconscious.
up in a dungeon.
That's what men do, yeah.
And it constantly tries to claw out, and I put on a
shove that shit down.
So she says, yeah, that doesn't help. So you need to use hypnosis to go in there and change those habits. Make it so.
Better bring a machine gun to go to
in there with a shotgun, just opening the door. You get out here.
It's like invading Vietnam. Like, we didn't know that they knew the terrain. This we underestimated.
She says if you're like unhappy, there's something in your subconscious that's making you unhappy. So you use hypnosis, you go in there, and then you change it.
So how do you?
You're happy.
So first off, that's all you have to do.
Well, let me give you an example. So this is how she talks about the subconscious and how that really makes you happy. And she says, so someone on a massive yacht sipping champagne, watching like a beautiful sunrise, can be standing next to a person mopping the deck. And she says, which one is happy? The answer is whoever chooses to be.
Yeah, I don't think if I was mopping on a deck right there, it's not like I'm going to choose.
When I walk downtown and I see a guy walk out of a building in a business suit and hop into like an expensive black car, and there's another guy who's covered in his own shit. And it's like, which one is happy? The one who chooses? No, the one who's not covered in his own shit. That's who's happy.
But she says you can hypnotize the one that's covered in shit
to thinking he has healthcare.
to thinking he's happy. You know,
hypnotize him.
Hypnotize him. The thinking is his wife and kids are sitting right next to him.
So instead of like offering raises to your employees or whatever, you can just be like,
yeah, why isn't this book just at the top?
This is almost like this book is almost like some evil like Machiavellian like way to control.
Yeah, so that person's mopping your deck and they're like, can I get a raise? And you're like, no, but here's a watch. So just hypnotize you.
I think you should really focus on the raise within.
Just repeating mantra. Your child does not need Christmas presents.
Wait, so how does it? So she's talking about the result, but what does she actually do to make how could I use?
You said she doesn't use the watch, right?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't use the watch.
So how does this book make me happy?
Okay, so the program the program, she calls it the hashtag Close Your Eyes Get Free program.
It's a hashtag?
Yeah, it's hashtag.
Automatically.
What a monstrous person. When was this written?
2018.
What a piece of shit.
Any advice with a hashtag next to it's just completely gone.
Hashtag Close Your Eyes Get Free.
That's such a long hashtag too.
And she has
also, I feel like you could take that in 1,000 other directions. Yeah, I was like, I don't know, that's necessarily positive.
Yeah, and there's a warning in front of it. She says, please don't read these. So you hypnotize yourself with these scripts she provides you. And she says, please don't read these scripts out loud to anyone ever. They are safe to listen to in a safe place, but it's not okay for you or anyone else to read them out loud to another person.
So she's saying that these are so powerful that if you read these out, you'll just hypnotize.
It'll just be the next 9/11. That's basically. Yeah. But also, sail at borders.
There's some real power in these. Honestly,
beware all ye who enter here.
Reading these out loud on the podcast, we might
just destroy humanity.
Should we put
all 50 people that download the podcast may be destroyed?
Should we put a like a little disclaimer like on the
public
front,
service?
front
So like,
episode?
are we gonna read some of these?
Yeah, but she continues.
Have you tried them already?
No.
You didn't say them out loud?
No.
He's like, I haven't even looked at it. It's gonna be like that scene from Indiana Jones where he opens the box and her eyes start melting. It's just automatically.
I didn't read them aloud because Shosh was around and I couldn't expose her to the power of the scripts. But she continues with the warning in case you didn't get the point. She says, you wouldn't stitch up a friend's cut instead of taking him to the ER. So that's
what the fuck does that mean?
That's how powerful.
Wait, what
when these
mean?
are in the
what does
wrong.
That mean in regards to the
it's
hypnosis?
like when this whole powerful technology is in the wrong hands, it could cause some serious problems apparently.
So it's
but they're just gonna be a bunch of like Tumblr like feel good about yourself posts that she's just put on her page.
Maybe they're real. Have you ever been hypnotized before?
Fallen in love. I think that's the same thing.
That might have been the worst thing I've ever heard him make in his life.
Yeah, she says release of repressed emotions can occur if you read these just out loud. And people can relax very quickly, which is dangerous if they're standing up. And if you mess up the script, it can have a less than desirable impact.
I want you guys to test it out.
Well, we're both gonna do it. No, we both need it, right? I mean, we both need it. Apparently,
You want to do what? So we'll do one.
Yeah, I'll do.
Me and
What do
him
you
say
do?
it
One,
to
I do.
you,
You.
and then one where you and him say it to me. We'll see.
I thought, but we have to do it yourself, right?
But what if we all three of us do it? It's not gonna. We're all like getting each other's mumbos, right? You know what I mean? It's not gonna work.
But aren't you supposed to do it yourself? That's like the whole book.
Yeah, you're supposed to do it yourself. But the way she phrases that, if you read it wrong, it can have less than desirable impact. It's like the Book of the Dead or something from the Mummy.
It's like the beginning of a horror movie where we're sitting around and we like say something the wrong way and we all become zombies or whatever and haunt the earth.
Look at the hypnosis. It's gonna say "kill your father" just 30 times in a row.
But her final sentence of the warning, really, I don't know. It makes it clear why she put the warning in. It just says if you want someone else to experience hypnosis, they have to buy the book.
Jeez,
That is so fucking
just
shit.
such a soulless fucking trash. Hey, you cannot read this book until another person pays $19.95 for my special program. If you don't buy my special CD, horrible effects will happen.
There's one more thing. The only case you shouldn't use this is if someone has schizophrenia.
Why not?
Who knows what'll happen?
I like how she's like, you shouldn't use this on anyone who has any actual real problems. Like if you got a relative who's sick, take him to a hospital. Stop beating around the bush.
Yeah.
He's like,
so right now we're...
Hold on, Jimmy. I'm gonna stop these voices real quick. Let me get to page 8. No, you gotta buy a book too. You gotta buy a book too before we stop.
You actually have to buy 3 books for 1 year.
Each for each voice. Each voice. If you're manic, we might need to get 2 books here just to kill the job.
Yeah, and so far we're about 20 pages in. And
no, we've also according to her, she can cure the sick, and the words she's saying are so powerful. In the wrong hands, it's like a weapon of mass destruction. Essentially.
Yeah.
And she's 25 years old.
Yeah.
And has a poppin' Instagram account.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 20 pages in, and she's each page she has said you can read more at my website www.closeyoureyesgetfree.com.
Can you just imagine talking to this person at a bar?
So you want to?
I would hypnotize myself.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
I bet she just hypnotizes everyone into wanting to kill themselves in every conversation.
So you want to get into an actual example of the script she gives? So
being around the bush, I want to walk again.
So here's a simple case she gives. This is a stress script. So imagine you're stressed because there's like a long line at a grocery store or something, and for some reason that makes you really stressed. And she says first you take 4 deep breaths.
So should we do this like right now?
No.
Wait, we don't want to get into it. It'd be too dangerous.
You get stressed over long lines at the grocery store?
Yeah,
not
'cause
over long lines at the grocery store, but I have a
you're
baseline.
You gotta try it when you're stressed. I don't think you're not stressed right now.
Well, I mean, it was late again.
I'm
So
not stressed.
So
Stressed?
Huh?
I'm stressed.
Yeah, I'm stressed.
no, we're not gonna do it right now.
What do you mean we're not going to
Why are
do
you
it right
trying? Are you scared of the power?
We got a second part of the podcast that we gotta.
No, but we don't have to go out and do this by ourselves. You have the book right there, so we can just do it.
Well, I'm just gonna read So you're at a
Okay.
grocery store. You're stressed. There's a long line. She says, take 4 deep breaths, and then you start counting down from 10, and you go 10. I'm going deeper and deeper. 9. I'm going deeper and deeper, and you do that all the way down to 1. And then you start doing hypno affirmations like, I am safe, I am calm, I choose to be here.
That's a fun thing to do during sex. Just 10. I'm going deeper and deeper.
I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here.
Yeah, so you do this, and then...
It'd be great if you said in the podcast and we just like fucking murder Cole. we just take knives out and straight. She uses that as like promo for her book. She's just like, to 3 young miscreants on a podcast actually ended up. We like choke them out with the microphone as we're.
So now after doing all that person in the grocery store in line is not stressed anymore, but I'm pretty sure everyone around that person...
Oh, very stressed. Can you imagine? Oh, I'd have a panic attack. Yeah. Oh my God. The person in front of you is like, I am safe. I am calm.
I'm going
getting
deeper and deeper.
I'm like, holy shit. Mom, fuck the barbecue. I'm out of here.
Safe, I am calm. Allahu.
God.
Yeah, so that's one of
We got to just start saying that on a crowded subway. Like it was like the red line at 5 o'clock, just holding.
Which one is where I'm going deeper and
I think
deeper?
I'm doing deeper. That just makes you uncomfortable on any level. And the fact that you're counting down, no good. No one wants to see what's happening at 1. Just go into a crowded subway, start counting down. Especially me. I got a real ethnically vague look. If I look angry in a subway and start counting down, maybe throw a little bit of Arabic in there, it's done.
And keep saying, I choose to be here.
I choose to be
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was their script for stressfulness. In the book, there's scripts for, if you need to stop smoking.
Wait, so do I have any to apply to me and Kwame? So, like, what are some of the is there any, like, about needing more Twitter followers or something?
Which Twitter?
I don't know. What's your biggest problems in life?
I don't know if you got
savagely, horrifically poor.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
You need a script to get here on time. that should be yours.
Yeah, so me and Kwame were both broke. The stress thing applies to us.
What about your relationships, your life?
Not great. No? Probably I would describe them as poor.
Do you want to quit smoking or drinking? Do you want to lose weight? Do
I
you
like
wanna
drinking.
Hey, I enjoy drinking.
Stop negative thinking? Do you want?
Yeah, let's try negative thinking.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Stop nail biting.
Negative thinking. I mean, sure, the state of North Carolina would like me to quit drinking, but I mean, I would, they definitely were very adamant about that, the last court case, but.
I'm sure whatever woman I'm yelling at 1:55 a.m. in the back of this dive bar wants me to stop drinking.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Keep drinking.
So she'll provide you with the basic structure of the script, and then you put in your own hypno affirmations.
That's kind of trash. It's ad-libs for hypnotism. You don't even. It's just insert paste your problems here.
Yeah. So some of the ad-libs she gives you are like, "I am free from overeating. I choose healthy portion sizes instead. I am finally free." Or I am free from smoking. I choose sipping water instead. I am finally free. So we'll come up with a plan for you guys.
Those aren't polar
No, we can do this
opposites.
right now.
Those are not
We're
polar
not going to do it
opposites.
right now.
I want to do it. I want to
Smoking
show people on the pod the real-time examples of me coming along.
There's no. These are they don't work the first time you do them.
I mean, yeah, we can do. Wait, so but I thought these were supposed to hypnotize
repetition
you
things
in the moment, right?
She said that you can't even read them out loud, otherwise society itself will crumble.
She's all over the place on how powerful these are. So.
It goes from you cannot read them out loud to you might want to do this 30 times a day to you might just want to go to a gym.
What's
You
your
might-
name?
I was
I'm gonna look
hoping
her
the
up.
scripts would get more powerful. Like the first one, it's like how to stop losing weight, and then the third one's like invisibility.
Walk through walls. So we can't. It's not just a one-time thing. I got to read them every day.
No, you got to do it every day.
What's the most powerful one in there?
There's not. They're not. I just said they're not really
What's spell 15?
ranked
once I'm a
on
level
power.
17 hypnosis, what do I?
The final chapter is past life regression.
Ooh, yeah. Let's get into that. Yeah.
When I'm floating into my traveling back in time.
Yeah. So this is when things got really sketchy for me. When she started, because there is some scientific basis in self-hypnosis, just doing research online. Because it basically...
I thought you were about to say past lives. I'm like, we've lost Cole. Cole is gone. Yeah.
There's some scientific research in altering the time travel continuum.
Because, basically what she describes in here is meditation, and there's, scientific basis. No one knows why, hypnosis or meditation, really works.
It's probably just getting your brain... You're just making your brain,
yeah, I mean, if you
associate it-
repeat, I want to lose weight every day.
You're making it
You're gonna
associate
lose
with a thing, or the smoking thing. There's a thing where, they... you go to the psychologist, they give you a thing like a bitter tasting thing every time you want to smoke, and then you associate that with
That's
wanting to
aversion therapy. That's something
smoke.
else.
But I'm saying it's the same kind of thing, right? You're just making your brain associate something with.
It could be. No one knows for sure, and I'm pretty sure you don't know for sure at all. So, but yeah, some people say it's a placebo or it's an authority figure telling you what to do. But
I just want to pay a dominatrix to tell me to lose weight, and I'm gonna actually have my own self-help book. It's called Dominatrix Self-Help, and I just pay. As when after she punches me with a belt, she just tells me I need to quit smoking. It actually is 100% effective.
You have a dominatrix punch you?
Yeah.
A punch?
Well, that's what you pay. You're paying
I mean, a
$300
slap on
an
the
hour.
ass is kind of hot, but a punch is aggressive. You punch you in the stomach?
Huh?
Punch you in the stomach?
You can't. You're gonna play with the big boys.
Punch you in the
You
stomach?
show up to work. This is a separate podcast called Kevin's Friday Evenings. That we're
Oh my god!
starting up,
A punch is—that's not even hot. That's like a boxer.
so I was with her a little bit on the self hypnosis stuff.
Were you?
I mean, it's not like all bunk, like whatever. But when she
That
started,
Brazilian guy can walk. Let me tell you, he fucking
that
walks.
was bunk.
How do you know? Were you there?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but come on, Alexandre.
Alexandre.
I'm gonna call him.
I don't even think that's is that a Brazilian name?
Yeah, it's-
Alexandre.
But yeah, then she started talking about past life regression and how she really believes it's a thing. And I was like, okay, Gary.
What is past life regression?
So past life regression is you got to believe that we have past lives, right?
Yeah, it's a hard premise in that.
Yeah.
Are we talking Buddhist like
So-
Buddhism type like reincarnation type of stuff?
Yeah, kind of. And so you also got to
So I was
believe
like an
that
ant?
that some of your problems stem from your past life. So
Like
she
bad things I
gives
did?
an example in this book. She says there's this white lady that came in, and she had problems with like eating. She had like eating
Did
disorders.
she specifically say white?
Oh yeah, you'll find out why. So just let me get through the sorry. So she had eating disorders. So they
You
went.
could have just said, like, you say a white lady came in, we're like, oh yeah, eating disorders. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
just, it's a little redundant. You
This
don't
white
really
woman
need to.
came in and there was
Yeah.
she was going through a famine.
Yeah.
So the hypnotherapist takes her through some past life regressions, and so the white lady is like, she recedes back into her past life, and she's like, yeah, I was 12 years old, I was black as coal, and and she's like, my brother died, and I'm eating the carcass of an animal, and so. Yeah, so they sussed it out, and apparently in her past life, she was like a 12-year-old African boy, and so that's
so
what
offensive
that's
objects
where
just started falling down.
that's where this white lady's eating problems come from. Her past life when she starved to death as a 12-year-old African
That's
boy.
just such a
I do want to.
fucking
I want to say that right there. White women might be the the worst. The worst pig in the United States.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue with that. I mean, the fact that you can't take any self-responsibility for, like, maybe I eat 12 fucking cupcakes because I have no self-control. You're like, I used to be an African child that starved to death. That's why this all used to happen.
For all the talk about white men, a white guy would never be like, yeah, in my past life I was like a Russian,
100%.
a
No, yeah,
Russian
yeah.
revolutionary.
It's also such a roundabout way to like blame your
Can you
problem on
imagine just
black
having
people.
two
you
fingers
know?
come down?
Horrific.
Yeah. It's like such. You're like, how can we find a way to have this? Can you imagine in a bathroom?
in
two
my
fingers
past life I was a nigger. Yeah, I was.
You're just in a bathroom, two fingers going down your throat. And you're like, fucking black people. You're like, if only I couldn't have. This had to happen.
If only civilization in sub-Saharan Africa had caught up to Western Europe, maybe I wouldn't be making myself throw up this cake at 2 a.m.
Jesus. I like how that's like a success story in her book, and then we found the problem, right?
How would you feel if some white lady came up to you and she's like, yeah, I can relate to you. You know, in my past life, I was
My
I was a starving boy in Chicago.
yeah, I look just like you, Kwame, in a past life.
I had thought that my respect for white women could not drop further. You've proven me wrong.
Jesus Christ. So what did she get from that?
She found the source of her problem,
And then she was and then she could just eat like a normal person from here on out.
yeah.
Yo, what is it? Because you found the source? Also, I want to know what happened to the African girl. The African, she died. She starved. What happened to her story?
The African boy died so she could live.
No. I can say it because I was in my
Yeah, in
past
a
life.
past life.
In my
Yeah.
past life, I was actually Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, so it says, as the session continued, they learned that the 12-year-old boy, her in her past life, lived in a village that had been attacked. All of their livestock had been killed, and many people were dying of starvation. And the boy lost his parents in the attack, and the only remaining family, his little brother, was now gone. Later on in the session, the boy found a carcass of an animal and ate as if it were his last meal. It was. And she said, I've been walking for 2 days since we found the zebra. I just saw myself fall down. I think I died.
You do not eat.
Yes,
zebras,
I
brother.
died. That's right. Where are you now in relation to your body? I'm above it, looking down. Hypnotherapist, how do you feel? Colleen, free. Happy to be free, but I miss my brother. And from that day forward, Colleen never ate another meal as if it were her last.
Well, I think
Because in her past life...
giving white girls the right to vote was a mistake. if that is allowed to go out and decide who's president,
Jesus fuck. That's also like $300. You know that? Just-
There's kind of a lot of things in this book that I read and it just kind of made me shake my head. There was something
That's bad.
That is horrific.
that was probably the worst, but there was something else she said let me see if I can find it. Oh, she said, I've always felt that the lack of widespread access to hypnotherapy is a human rights issue. Jeez. Yeah. So food, water.
Yeah. Hey, everyone in Somalia. No, we don't have the food, but we do have some affirmations
Let me
that
tell
you can.
those 3 genocides in Southeast Asia could stop right now if they hypnotize them.
I'm getting deeper into. No.
You know who the fuck you're talking to? You know, in my last life I was JFK, so you should show some fucking respect. Man.
Jesus, widespread. Can you imagine if Donald Trump or somebody came out that was like, yeah, we're not giving you health care, but Grace is gonna come over, give you some tips on what you need to do.
Oh yeah, there's
your
a
past
lot.
life you didn't pull up your bootstraps, and that's why you don't have health care in this life. Right?
So she does go into the healthcare thing a little bit too. Like,
I love how she's got her stance. She's like,
well, not stance. She just says that hypnotherapy it can be a replacement for anesthesia, right?
Jesus.
You can go under surgery completely under hypnotherapy and not feel any pain. That's what she says.
Can you imagine if someone actually brought that?
You go in to get a kidney taken out, and your doctor's like, yeah, kid, I need you to read this mantra for 10 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and get
10,
started.
9, ah!
Why
did no one do that during the Civil War? Like, no, I'm just going to need you to count down from 8 to 9.
No, she said that's where it started.
That's not what they did at all. The stories are always like they had him drink a bottle of wine and they sawed their fucking leg off.
During the Civil War, all the doctors, she said, dabbled in hypnotherapy.
I don't think they did, really.
And they started
yelling the South will rise again 10 times in a row is not hypnotherapy.
Wait, so what is she saying that? During
Should
the
we
Civil
do that
War,
for the
they
pod?
dabbled in
Can you get a scalpel and cut me open when I count down from 9?
No, I think we should do that.
Yeah,
do a pain one. Yeah, do your scripts and then we'll punch you and see if it hurts afterwards.
Well, punch is better than if I sat on an operating table and was trying to get out. I'm saying we go.
You wouldn't go under or not go under.
Convincing yourself that those Yankee bastards will not win is a form of therapy. It is.
She said it also heals bones faster too.
Jeez.
So
she's just trying to hit a world record for unreasonable claims she's made in her book.
Every book we've read starts with a thing where I'm like, all right, this person's kind of kooky, and then by the end I'm like, oh, this is an evil human. You're a bad person.
So yeah, she healed a paralyzed man. You can have surgery. Your bones will grow faster. It sounds amazing.
What does that mean? Your bones they'll heal? Or you said
they'll heal faster.
Okay.
Yeah. And they love to, all these hypnotherapist people love to just put hypno in front of words. She says there's hypno coaches. I don't know what that is.
Also, hypno nutrition.
Oh yeah, on her website,
what the fuck?
What
does that even mean?
That's the weight loss shit,
she
right?
sells pills and she says they're hypno nutrition, which doesn't make sense.
Adderall.
That's
what that is.
No, they're just pills. She says they're a mix of 30 different herbs, and somehow hypno is involved. I don't know. And she has friends. She talks about her one friend that started hypnobirthing. It's when you go through child labor just through hypnosis. And she says it's a wonderful experience. No pain.
Oh, we're gonna do that on the pod too. We're gonna have a live pregnant woman count down from 10.
She do you guys know about? Because I kind of got into the history. At least I didn't look too much into the history of hypnotherapy, but she told me it started with these doctors in the Civil War. But she said actually it started much earlier, and that there was many cultures that they had this sleep temple, which she said was the first instance of hypnotherapy.
They hadn't discovered medicine
Yeah,
and civilization.
I know they bring
up
Asian people as if that's a credit. I'm like, yeah, people were dumb. They did dumb things until we figured it out.
Chinese in the 13th century.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did.
The Aztecs also ripped people's heart out to get it to rain. That doesn't fucking mean that we should do that.
Yeah, so there was these sleep temples until Christianity grew, and they proclaimed all this hypnotherapy as witchcraft, which is a good move.
So now she goes in an anti-religion thing. She goes in a whole nother...
Yeah, I think that's a good move by the church. One of their few good moves.
Oh, yeah, that's bad. Oh, yeah, it's definitely...
is declaring that as witchcraft. And then she says this begun a centuries-long battle of hypnotherapists versus church. You know, like this little secret war that's going on between the two.
Secret war.
I gotta tell you though, I mean,
If vampires and werewolves fighting in the night.
but after reading this book and hearing about it, if a crowd was like, "We need to burn her at the stake," I'm like, "Yeah, I think yes."
I was gonna ask, do you think who is a worse threat to America? This woman or Alex Jones, who is legitimately doing more? Because they booted him off Twitter, but she's allowed to.
He's like, she's got her book doing all this. Yeah,
I bring him back.
Yeah. And she said eventually hypnotherapist was revived by this French guy named Mesmer. And he started doing the old sleep temple practices again, but she didn't like him because he dressed in a black cape and would tie his clients up in rope. And
so this is just S&M. That's all that was going on. It's easy to fall asleep after you got to call someone daddy 13 times.
I didn't know there were that many divisions in the hypno.
Yeah, I just thought they were all wrong. I thought that was just the one division is just incorrect.
She didn't like that because he was bringing theatrics into hypnotherapy, and that's what really grinds her gears is how hypnosis is portrayed in like
also
movies.
She opened her book with, "If you read this, all of society will crumble." I thought he was being a little overdramatic. Okay,
that there's like a hypno subculture that we don't know. Like there's some hypnotherapist Facebook group where someone's like, "You believe they booked Mesner again?" There's a hack who's doing theatrics during his hypnosis session.
Why does he need that black cape?
Yeah, there's a bunch of hypnos talking shit, you know?
Learn to write a fucking book.
Yeah.
So she really hates how movies have portrayed
foot
hypnosis.
deeper in my ass, I tell you that.
And she hates how stage hypnosis do their little they're turning hypnosis into like a little magic act. She doesn't like.
This is like real versus like the hack.
Yeah, she's just bitter. She's just bitter.
Yeah. And this is the best part about her bitterness. She says, and the most heinous and upsetting example to date, the movie Get Out.
Oh, she's mad at Get Out.
She said it had her.
She already got the African kid thing, right? And then she finds a way to hate Get Out. We're like, I feel like, and then they were fucking sitting during the national anthem. It's all gonna get
hypnotize you not to be a goddamn patriot.
She said the movie had her in tears inside the theater while I witnessed such a horrific and false presentation of hypnosis.
Jeez, she doesn't realize it's a fucking movie.
She got to the end and she was like, the bad guy got away. And she broke down in tears.
Yeah, so she was, during Get Out, she was crying in the theater just going, that's not how they do it.
That's such a... Just in the middle of the mood, no context. You hear a woman, that's not how it works.
That's not how we steal black people at all.
That's not how we do
it. We are
it.
much more professional.
It's not how we do it.
So I guess me and Kwame, we're gonna do a couple of these to not be broke and quit drinking.
I get to punch you in the stomach a couple times to see if you feel any pain.
Yeah,
we'll decide which scripts over the break. I really think we should do the pain one.
Pain, definitely.
Because there's
is there one to cheat? Is there one to cheat death? What's the most powerful one? I want to know the most powerful spell in the book so I can cheating death.
Probably
I'll have you chant something 5 times and you're gonna walk in front of a bus. Are you ready?
Probably lack of self-worth or lack of self-love.
I could use some of that.
Pretty powerful.
So when
ones.
I float to your house next Sunday, are you gonna bow to me or?
All right, we're coming back after a week of the self-hypnosis. Did it work for you guys?
I feel like it was actually, out of all the things we reviewed, probably the least shitty, but still not great.
I mean, it's just breathing exercises coupled on with like a bunch
of philosophical
I guess
could you give a little overview of what exactly you had to do?
So basically, Cole sent us. It's like, first off, you start like meditating, like breathing exercises, but you got to go 1, I'm going deeper and deeper. 2, I'm going deeper and deeper, like the beginning of kind of like a bad Inception reboot. And then instead of a mantra, it's actually like a giant gay monologue you have to kind of read yourself. That's just kind of like, I'm going to
The part where it talks about getting a mani, it's like imagine yourself getting a mani-pedi, and I was like, oh, so this is for sad women and gay men. You know who your audience is.
Well, it goes on for, like, it's one thing to be like, I'm going to believe in myself. It's like, I'm going to believe in myself and start a startup and, like, say hi to my dad. Like, it goes into, like, all these, it's like a 4-paragraph manifesto you're supposed to read yourself. And so you do that while meditating. And I think it works in that when you're sitting crisscross applesauce saying that, you just feel so ridiculous that you're like, I'll just stop being sad. You know, I'll just get over it. You know, if this is what the cost of depression is.
The mantra I sent you guys was specifically the mantra for self-worth. So it's supposed to improve your self-worth.
I couldn't do there's a part at the end where you had to imagine. It's like, now imagine yourself having esteem and feeling great and all that, and I literally couldn't do it every time. I would just die laughing because the only way I could imagine myself is like in a Saved by the Bell reboot where it's like Kenyon with positive self-esteem. Now he thinks he's a person, and then
Jesus,
I had no idea what.
Yeah, it helped me a little bit. The breathing.
What's your idea of you with self-esteem look like though?
Just like. Got shit together. It's like a basic level.
What do you mean? It's just
shit together.
It's just going. It's like you going in an ATM and you're like, oh, I can use this now. Is that all? Is that your
basic
dream?
Shit, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, the breathing shit didn't help you.
No, I mean meditation works because you stop thinking and thoughts.
Exactly. So that's
anytime you're not thinking, you're automatically happy.
See, that is a drug addict's mouth that just talked there. But I mean,
that's true. That's why meditation works because it's like sit in the ground and not think.
He says with a hams in his hand, no, man. Anytime you're not thinking, I don't think about the fact that I got kids. Don't think about the fact that I got this bitch who doesn't love me. I'm living life.
Yeah, that's exactly. Every Friday I get together with my friends. That's why drinking is fun. I'm like, you want to not think for 8 hours? That's pretty much.
How'd you like the part at the end where you have to stretch out your arms and go, yes?
Oh, I did not do that. Yeah,
you didn't do that?
I saw that and I was like, I'm not.
I had to make sure my uncle wasn't home because if I got caught, I'd be immediately evicted. He's like, you're out of here, just 100%. No, this is done.
Yes,
your rent's up 3 times what it was. Yeah, it's just so I think doing that, like if you're depressed and you're like, I'm gonna read my self-worth mantra, do stuff, and you would just give up just so you get your dignity back. You're like, I think I'd rather kill myself.
You don't think this helps people?
Huh?
You don't think this helps people?
I think it's like if you're doing this, you obviously want to be better, so you're just going to be better. Like if you sit down every day and you're like, I'm gonna love myself, you're just gonna end up loving yourself. Like,
so that's good. So that helps people. That means that works, right?
Well, if I had to release a self-help book, it would just be called Stop. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're doing. Like you don't need to go to Africa or have an acid trip or do any of those dumb mantras to quit smoking or get your life. Yeah, just shut up. All right, you know what's wrong.
So you think it's just in people? You don't think people get depression and shit?
Well, yeah, but if this cures you, you don't have real depression. If this cures you, you should be fucking depressed because you are just a miserable human. I mean, that's...
you don't think there's any benefit to trading like negative thoughts for positive thoughts?
Oh, I think there's 100% benefit of doing that.
How many negative thoughts? I don't think that's what do you think is your ratio?
That's not like someone.
What do you think is your ratio per day of positive to negative thoughts?
Oh, like 100 to 1.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
You don't think good that you don't ever wake up? You're like, you know what? I'm feeling good today, Ken.
Literally never.
Oh my God.
I wake up. You know the energy when you're at a Starbucks and you like spill coffee all over yourself and you're like, ah, fuck. I just live there emotionally all the time. Like that's my emotional mailing address if you need to send me anything.
That's
do you ever do like
it's terrible.
Like I know how some athletes always like visualize themselves like scoring before a game. Do you ever have like any visualizations before going on stage of like people laughing or like people, are you doing well, or like what's your thought right before going on stage?
I don't like the therapy session that you guys snuck into the middle of this podcast. I think we should get back to the self-help book in the middle of this. You're like, so
before you ever talk to your father, do you have visualizations of you guys hugging and playing
like
football
of it going
together?
well? Just me imagining killing a set with my dad. I'm just like, yeah, he hugs me. We throw football around. Girl, I mean, yeah, sometimes I have daydreams of things going well occasionally.
Yeah. It's weird though, like a lot of the times when I do have like bad sets, I see like a good crowd, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna kill it. And then, the opposite happens.
Yeah, I
So,
feel like sometimes you go overconfident and
Yeah.
shoot yourself in the foot.
I think it can also help if you're going in and you're like, oh, I'm gonna bomb, so I'm just gonna be like loose and be myself because whatever the fuck happens is gonna happen, and it works.
Okay, you kind of mumbled that whole sentence. I didn't even.
She just hypnotized Kwame into
hear
talk
what I
like
said?
that person.
Yeah,
heard
are
what I
you
said.
trying to hypnotize us with your with your mumble?
Kwame talks long enough. We would all fall asleep and he hypnotizes us into giving
You
us
heard
his
what I
wallets.
said.
That's-
No, because
we did.
you talk. You start off strong. You go yeah, and then yeah.
I'm not mumbling. I'm also saying that you're gonna give me that last bottle of wine and $30. And
I just think I want you to believe in yourself to the end of a sentence. That's what I want you to start doing. It's at the beginning of a sentence full of confidence and then suicidal by the third word. It's just insane.
talking.
It's a manic episode within a conversation.
It's
with
a.
Kwame.
It's the same with the set too from Kwame
Yeah,
on
yeah,
stage.
yeah.
What do you mean the same? What do you mean with the same with the set?
No, because the set never has the confidence up front either. The set, unlike the sentence which starts strong, the set it really starts with the mumble.
Hey, some of
and
these
ends with the-
sets, some of those sets, they finish pretty peak high, baby.
Listen, this is a podcast. We don't lie here. Okay, so we don't need. This is the chamber of truth. All right, we're not.
Sets finish
Listen,
pretty
you
peak
can listen. You
goddamn
can
high.
keep the lies for outside. All right, but you check them at the door. All right, well, that's what we do here. For Christ, yeah, I think self hypnosis helps in that, like repeating any sort, like if you're just putting a lot of your thoughts and effort towards something.
I was very interested in her claim that it could help with pain, and I kind of wanted.
Not at all.
Oh, like
Like-
physical pain?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
I
Not-
kind of.
Just imagine
there's
your
like
leg.
placebo. There's placebo shit like that. Like there's a thing of like isn't there the thing of like when you're hurt when you like bump your shin and you rub it and shit even though it's not really doing anything that does like
No, I've
mentally help you
never.
feel
I've never
better?
heard of
Never heard
that.
study.
Isn't that a thing? There's shit where like you can placebo trick your brain into
I
thinking
think you
you're in
placebo
this
think
shit.
you're right about most fucking things. I don't know.
That's not a I'm not that's not a far fetched fucking thing. You can placebo trick your brain into not feeling.
Yeah, but I feel like if you
that.
so you get shot
the
in
monks,
the arm, right?
the monks who walk in the hot coals and all that kind of bullshit. That's placebo shit.
This is Kwame's advice when you get shot. Oh yeah, just rub the bullet a little bit, and
What I'm
Yeah, you
saying
get
is
shot,
there
and then you
there
do,
is
I need
shit
you to
like
count
that.
down from 1 to 10, and you're like, I can see myself with the bullet out of my body. I can see myself not snitching on Jaquan and getting shot in this corner.
visualize
right
my-
now.
I also I don't know. I just really, for me personally, I hate the idea of like even if you don't want to, force yourself to smile, and then the world will change. Like that just seems so like fake to me. Like
Because I think smiling and expressing emotion feels fake.
no, but just
That
like
feels fake. That feels
just
fake.
like putting a smile on your face would change like the circumstances in your life. Just feels like such a
It's like kind of like
Yeah,
the
like,
worst
you feel like
advice
people
ever. It's
share
like, well, have
those-
you tried just not being sad though?
Yeah.
It's like, what instead of changing your circumstances, just kind of give up and accept it for what it is. You know? Why do you have to constantly want this whole fulfillment thing out of life? Just quit with that nonsense. Put a smile on like your grandpappy did. Just go about your day.
That was a simple way to live.
No, I think I
Wake up
legitimately think that it's like someone grew up in the 50s is, I mean, like a stronger person.
You think they're a stronger person?
If I just take, okay, let's take guy
Well, they
getting
don't-
shot on Normandy Beach versus today crying because somebody said the wrong word.
wait stronger in what sense?
Yeah, it depends
though?
what you mean. Yeah, because that guy was also like, he got shot on Normandy Beach and then came back to the United States and like yelled at a black girl for trying to go to a white school.
Well,
so
I
like,
mean, yeah.
what do you mean stronger? It's
Well, I'm just saying, like my grandparents, it's like I literally like they like my grandpa. I could never see him being like, yeah, I'm kind of depressed today. Like that's just like come from like just such a hard back. Like the Great Depression just happened. You know what I mean? So it's like literally, if you just had food, you're like everything's going great.
Yeah. It would suck to be depressed during the Great Depression.
Yeah, you're like, man, this is a real bummer. Everyone's like, yeah, it is. It's fucking.
Would you lose your stocks? Nah, I'm just kind of feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of
down.
bummed out. You're like,
It's
I
kinda
just
bummed.
sold my child.
Yeah, but I wanted to be like a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of making a movie, and
yeah.
don't have the funds for it. You know.
Yeah, not only is it the Great Depression, it's my own personal Great Depression.
He doesn't even have a
lose your
bed.
house?
Don't even have a
I
bed
should
to not
just.
get
I
out
should
of.
just. I feel like I should write more. I feel like I'm not. I'm not expressing
Just
myself.
sitting on the. Just doesn't he have the motivation to get on the train to go search for work? He's just lying down in the field somewhere.
Or didn't they have like little job lines, whatever the fuck, or like the soup kitchen
Did
lines?
you go to school? Did
I
you
know.
actually
I was trying to think of the
receive
word.
a high
I
school
was trying,
education?
I was trying to
Job
think of the,
lines?
I was trying to
Do you
think of the
even
term.
engage in
I
society?
was trying to think of the term.
Wait,
The riff's
there
done, right?
there were
The
no
riff's done.
jobs.
No, I'm saying they had
Why
like.
would
I
there
was
be
thinking
job
of the soup
lines?
kitchen lines. I was thinking like people without jobs, so they're like a job line.
Christ.
Whatever. The riff is done. Move on to the next thing.
Do you just go home?
The riff's
and
dead,
go
right?
back-
Stop trying
you
to.
go back
Stop trying to.
sleep?
You buried the riff. Let the riff go on. All right. It's
over.
dead. It's dead. You let it
It wasn't a riff,
go.
It was a portal inside of a mine that has been poorly wronged by the American public education system.
Is that how you're trying to find your new jobs? Just searching like
Where's
where
one
are
of
the
these
job
lines at? Just looking for one of these job lines. God.
What you guys waiting for? No, I'll wait with you. I'll wait here. Is there a job at the end of this line?